Hi everybody, it's Stewart A. Swerdlow.
And Janet Diane Moya Swerdlow.
And this is the Expansionist News Podcast for the last week of November 2016. Daddy's home.
Where?
Right here.
My father's like 90 years old.
I don't care. No. I'm daddy.
Not my daddy.
I'm everybody's daddy.
No, you're not my daddy. I'm sorry.
I'm daddy.
No.
And by the way, thank you when I came home. All the piles of presents that I found for my birthday. This being one of them. Thank you, person from Britain.
Mm-hmm. And what about?
And I also received presents when I was in Australia.
How about the shirt, dear, that you're wearing?
From Holland.
Remember, he's over 60 now, so.
From Holland. I love this shirt. Thank you so much. I'll never take it off, and I will shower with it.
And that's why you forgot that you had it on. Because you never take it off.
Yes, it's true. It's true. But I appreciate it very much. It's from Holland.
Yeah, and while you were gone, I have to mention that we had really weird comments. For example, they think the plants on our fireplace are dying.
I just fixed them. If you don't like it, come and do it yourself.
And they don't like our Oshitanya sign.
Then they're mentally ill.
And they said all kinds of nasty things.
Because they're freaking nasty people. If you're nasty, do not watch the podcast.
Stop
I
now.
don't need you.
Turn it
Go
off.
away.
We don't want your comments.
Right. Go with the weird people on the internet.
Yeah, and they said they like it better when you do the news and not me with you.
Well, I can understand that. Yeah, I understand that, yeah. No, but she's okay when I'm not here, right?
No, they don't like that.
Well, get over it.
They don't like it when I do it alone. They don't like it when I do it with you.
Then they have, again, mental issues from their childhood. Mm-hmm. Maybe they have daddy issues, mommy issues, something
female
like
issues.
Something like this,
Yes.
but you have issues.
So if you have any issues, then you need a personal consultation or you need to go away.
Or just go away. Really, because I don't need issues. I have my own.
Right. Takes him a long time to cut those words in his beard.
That's right. I have the word sex cut in my beard every morning. I have to it's very difficult.
It is. All right.
So it's my turn?
Your turn.
Okay.
It's your turn to start with.
All right.
Never stop being your turn.
So, if you'll be quiet.
Well, that's what they want me to do. They say, if you would just please quit interrupting him.
Maybe you should listen to that.
Mm-hmm. Then you don't interrupt me.
Anyway, according to, and I don't have the source here, but some kind of weather service, it says the winter really is coming. And according to a Siberian snow theory, you know there's a Siberian snow theory? It says that there will be an early and brutally cold winter season for the U.S. Well, early it is not. Brutal it may be. Now, the experts say, who these experts are I don't know, that there's an increased snow cover in Siberia, which indicates cold temperatures are coming. Well, that's not global warming, is it? And this is my favorite part. Frozen balls measuring almost 3 feet across have been found near the village of Nida, Siberia. Well, I've had that problem in the past, but we'll not discuss it. But it also says that the snow cover in Siberia is now at the highest level for this time of year since 1998. Again, not global warming. And experts, again, we don't know who they are, foresee a harsher winter for much of the United States, including a return of the polar vortex.
That they made up.
That they made up. And they also, that might mean, remember they said in Michigan we have ice quakes? I never heard of it, but...
And thunderquakes.
And, we're going to get to that in a minute.
Thunderquakes?
No, the other stuff from
If mine isn't a thunderquake.
Whatever. Anyway, going to warmer places, Mexico's Popocatépetl volcano. Can you say that, please?
Popocatépetl volcano.
You didn't say it right.
I did.
It's Popocatépetl.
Popocatépetl.
And it started to erupt and sent steam, gas, and ash. Well, I could do that myself.
Yes, you do. You do on a regular basis.
Above the volcano's crater, and 5 kilometers up in the air. I would not want to be flying over that. In addition to that, the Turrialba volcano in Costa Rica is also erupting, the worst one in 6 years.
And there was a big earthquake.
And that can I finish my news?
Well, see, this is what they're complaining
And then
about.
it was after a 7+ earthquake off the coast of El Salvador. So I'm going to tell people this is absolutely related, even though the USGS says it is not. And you can watch for activity to come very soon to the Caribbean and to the southern and western United States, and you will see. Anyway, let's go to Cuba. Okay, Cuba's a nice country.
I've never been
It's a very
to.
nice country. Anyway, Fidel Castro passed away. He was 90 years old, and when he was 32 years old, had a group of revolutionaries who overthrew the unpopular dictator in 1959, who was Fulgencio Batista. Now, of course, there's been a lot of pros and cons about him.
Fulgencio or Castro?
Castro, because people like him, they don't like him, he's praised, he's condemned. But we must remember that Batista, before Fidel, was a very brutal dictatorship as well. And Cuba was promised by Castro, wonderful things under communist rule and it was very difficult, and he was a brutal dictator as well. Cuba and the Soviet Union, which is my homeland, established diplomatic relations on May 8, 1960, and that caused problems with the United States, and also intensified cooperation with the Soviet Union, which sent a lot of money and weapons, blah, blah, blah. We all know what happened with the Bay of Pigs and Kennedy and all of that stuff. But here's something that people don't realize about Castro, which I find very interesting. He was born August 13, 1926, the day after Montauk Day. Of course, it wasn't Montauk Day in those days. In the Oriente province in eastern Cuba. His father's named Angel. Isn't that funny? And he was a wealthy landowner from Spain. So, wealthy, prestigious, and yet his son overthrew all of that. And his mother, Lena, was a maid to Angel's first wife, so there was a little hanky-panky going on there, kind of like Hitler's family. Now, here's the interesting part, that Castro was educated in Jesuit schools.
There's a connection.
Yes, so that means he was part of the agenda, and he went on to earn a law degree from the University of Havana in 1950, and became a practicing attorney. He is also reported to have fathered 10 children with 6 women. Isn't that interesting?
No, a lot of these
And
leaders do that.
seven of his children have names that begin with the letter A.
A?
A? Maybe he was Canadian.
Maybe.
I don't know. But anyway, Cuba has always been ruled by dictators, and who they were unfortunately corrupt. And maybe I said this to you, but my mother had a friend from Cuba, and when I grew up, we always had Cuban people, constantly Cuban people. I think my mother was a communist also. Anyway, and one of her friends the friend's brother was best friends with Castro, and she told us how Castro used to come to her house for dinner, blah, 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 and he was a very nice guy, but then suddenly he changed, and he became not so nice, and she had to leave Cuba.
Well, maybe he had a double.
Maybe it's true, but supposedly he started out pretty nice, and then he changed.
Who knows?
So I also want to thank everybody in Australia for making my stay there very nice. Every time I go, I say I'm not coming back, and then I do. But this time I went to Newcastle and Hunter Valley in New South Wales, and it was very, very hot, and there were deadly, horrible, prehistoric spiders that tried to kill me, but I survived. And every morning I would look out my window, and you know what I'd see? These big eyes looking back. You know what they were? What? What were they?
Ghosts.
No, they were kangaroos. Did you post those pictures on Facebook?
Mm-mm.
No. So wallabies. Wallabies are just little kangaroos.
They're that little?
Okay, they're like this. Yeah. Anyway, so thank you, Australia. It was very nice. And Singapore is very hot and humid, and I don't like that kind of weather. Anyway, I guess so. I'll leave it up to you now, and you can go on to the other stuff.
Okay.
Before we go on to this.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so the last few weeks I have been giving you a lot of election news, so I thought we'd take a little bit of break from that because we know the show is just still kind of rocking and rolling out there, but it's going to keep going.
Yeah, but Hillary now wants a recount.
Well, I know. That's what I told you because, that's what I reported last week when you weren't here, is that there were still millions of voters votes that have been uncounted. And the Electoral College has not cast their vote until December 19th.
Is that really a college?
Yes.
Is it really?
Yes.
Like, what do they learn there?
College stuff. So anyway, so there's still going to be a lot of upheaval that's going to go on over the election for a long time. That's what my prediction is. So I want to talk to you for just a little bit about the pipeline water protectors, because it is now made Fox News, but the way Fox News writes it is a whole lot different than the way it's going down on social media. So on Fox News, they're calling them pipeline protesters, and on social media, they call themselves water protectors. So, according to Fox News, the pipeline protesters vow to stay camped on federal land. The Dakota Access Oil Pipeline protesters will not follow a government directive to leave the federal land, where hundreds have camped for months, organizers said.
I thought they were on Indian native land.
Well, this is the issue. The natives are saying that is their land, and the government is saying it's federal land. And then the government is saying there are hundreds, according to this article, and according to the social media, there are thousands there. So, first of all, the conventional news is not reporting this, hasn't reported it during the election.
You won't see it on CNN.
So this also makes me think what other things are going on in the world that they're not reporting, so that we start with that.
That's true.
And then what they are telling you is completely different than the story that we're seeing on social media. So anyway, I thought this was very interesting because it says the Standing Rock tribal members believe the land in which the encampment is on is owned by the Sioux through a more than century-old treaty with the U.S. government, but the government is saying it's their land. So we have an Oglala Sioux member from South Dakota saying we are wardens of this land. This is our land and they can't remove us. We have every right to be here to protect our land and to protect our water. And then the article goes on to say the vast majority of, again, the several hundred people fighting against the four-state, $3.8 billion pipeline, have created a self-sustaining community at the sprawling camp, which is on core land in southern North Dakota.
Okay, this is my question, because it's 4 states. It starts in Illinois, goes to Iowa, South Dakota. So how come the other states aren't involved in only North Dakota?
Well, and the other thing is, again, they're talking about several hundred people, which they're showing on social media there's several thousand people. So now the tribal leaders don't believe the Corps will forcibly evict people from the camp, but the tribe is working to provide the protesters protection from the elements on its reservation, which is south of the Cannonball River, but offered few details, probably because they're not allowed on this conventional story to talk about it. And then Governor Jack Dalrymple, did I say that?
It sounds good to me.
All right, it says...
Where's he from?
He doesn't say.
He's a governor of what?
I think North Dakota.
Of course, that would be Dalrymple. Who else would be the governor of North Dakota?
It's the federal government's job to peacefully close the camp because it allowed people to stay there in the first place. Then he goes on to say, quote, our state and local law enforcement agencies continue to do all they can to keep private property and public infrastructure free from unpermitted protest activities. And it's past time that the federal government provides the law enforcement resources to enforce their own order to vacate. And then we have Morton County Commission Chairman Cody Schultz, he's been all over the news, who said that the county and state leaders have been seeking federal law enforcement help for months. However, when you see the pictures on social media, it looks like the federal law enforcement people are already there.
They are. I've seen pictures.
But he's saying we need them.
Wow.
He said it's time for the federal government to live up to its obligations.
Which is what, to kill everybody that protests?
Well, the thing is that I'm going to get to that here in just a minute. Republican U.S. Senator John Hoeven and Democratic U.S. Senator Heidi Heitkamp said the protesters need to move for public safety. Hoeven says, quote, the well-being and property of ranchers, farmers, and everyone else living in the region should not be threatened by protesters who are willing to commit acts of violence.
There's no acts of violence by the
Unquote.
protesters.
Well, they're not protesters, they're water
And
protectors.
the ranchers and the farmers and all that, it's frozen there now. They're not doing anything.
Right. And so, and the thing is it's all over social media that everything is peaceful. They've got the protectors have got their hands in the air, they're singing songs, they're dancing. And so we're not really seeing any acts of violence by the water protectors. We're seeing acts of violence by whoever it is that's saying you can't be here.
I think that you should go there and do a live report from the location.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I just think it's interesting. And then they're talking about how water is life. So what are they doing? In very cold, below freezing temperatures, they're taking water and they're spraying the water protectors. To me, it's like in their face saying water can be death.
Who's spraying them?
We don't know because they're saying that it's not federal. They're saying it's local, but the water protectors are saying that it is, a combination of all kinds of military forces. So we don't exactly know who's there. We just watch what's happening. So while they're holding their hands up in sub-zero weather, they're being sprayed with water cannons. And there was a Seattle physician there who said that they actually had sheets of ice going
That's
off
freaking
of
cold.
I know.
It's cold here.
So that's what I said. They're saying water is life, and the people against the water protectors are basically making a statement that water is death because they're spraying them in this frigid weather and making them very sick with it. So it's all a very sad situation. And it's interesting how the news is, quote unquote, reporting it. That's why I'm telling you a little bit different things. Please be sure and watch my Facebook page. Here's an interesting story from your homeland.
What?
Vladimir Putin said that Russia's border doesn't end anywhere.
Yay!
Apparently, he was asking a 9-year-old
I love
boy,
Vladimir.
where does Russia's border end? And the boy said at the Bering Strait. And Mr. Putin then provided his own answer, saying that it doesn't end.
That's right.
Because he has pledged to defend ethnic Russians wherever they live.
I'm an ethnic Russian.
Are you? So you're going to be protected.
So that means he's going to take Michigan under Russian control.
And then the rest of my stories, I think, are kind of interesting because they're talking about the way the trends are going. Now, first of all, let me ask you before I read this article.
What?
Did you ever hear of POTUS and FLOTUS before?
You watch your language, Missy. You got potty mouth.
Did you ever hear that before this last?
No.
Okay. Because I've been reading this POTUS thing, and so
What is it? Oh, wait. President of the United States.
Yes.
I did.
And then,
yes, I
okay,
did
and then
know that.
FLOTUS?
Something of the United States.
Yes, First Lady of the United States, which I think is really stupid.
No, but she's not a lady, is she?
But I think it's really stupid. But anyway, we'll get to that.
Okay.
But before I tell you about that, here we talk about Bloomington, Indiana. Now we've been...
That's where the New Madrid Fault line is.
Now there's been a lot of talk about Columbus Day, and of course we have all the natives in the news.
In Russia, they call it Indian Massacre Day.
Well, they call that the Indians, the natives here call it Indian Massacre Day as well, and they do not celebrate it.
Good.
However, and they also don't celebrate Thanksgiving.
Good.
Except we celebrate it just for
We
Thanksgiving.
celebrated too, Canadian and American.
We did. But
It's
anyway,
terrible. How dare you?
Columbus Day is now going to be changed fall holiday. Okay, that's in Bloomington, Indiana.
They just call it fall holiday.
That's correct.
Uh-huh.
So everybody says, okay, but not only that, now they have tacked on Good Friday, and they're going to call that spring holiday.
Okay.
Because this is what they were called before Christians took over. Okay, before Christianity. So, in my opinion, this is the start of renaming our holidays to bring everything in for the New World religion. Okay, so first of all, they start Columbus Day, which people say, yeah, this is bad because of everything that's done to the natives. And I just happened to throw in Good Friday. Isn't that interesting?
Which was really not a good one.
Well, so anyway, but just I want you to pay attention because these are the way the trends start. Then we get to FLOTUS, which is the quote-unquote First Lady of the United States.
I have another name for her.
Now,
I
had talked earlier to you about the Modern Mother's Maternity book, I think, that Kate Middleton supposedly recommended, and then of course...
Yeah, you don't hear much about her anymore.
Yeah, you do. You hear her every day.
I don't see her anymore.
Because you've been gone. Anyway, here in the
Still on
States,
the
she's all
earth.
over the place. So I told you about that book, and it was written by someone called Anonymous. So if it's really a person, it's not called Anonymous. So I looked it up. It's really a silly book, which I told you, to me, looks like it promotes isolation and division of the family. Now we have Kate Middleton supposedly speaking to FLOTUS, otherwise known as First Lady Michelle Obama.
Yeah.
And according to rumor, the royal mom of two once recommended Biotulin Supreme Skin Gel,
That means
which is a non-injectable organic Botox, to Michelle.
I think Michelle is inflated enough.
Anyway, so then the FLOTUS makeup artist Carl Ray reportedly said Michelle Obama has been using this organic Botox gel regularly on the recommendation of Kate Middleton, and the effect is unbelievable.
Okay. I think Kate Middleton is like laughing up her sleeve, like, I told Michelle to do this and she's doing it.
Okay, the funny thing is, is this all set up, as you know. So the point is that Botox is becoming like the norm. If you don't use Botox, there's something wrong with it.
I don't use it.
Well, I have an article about it. You might want to read it. When I get to the next article, you're going to think twice.
I don't think twice. I don't even think once sometimes.
Well, that's what concerns me. But anyway, so that is again telling you what they're doing with Botox. If you don't use Botox, you've got a problem.
Do you use Botox?
I don't use Botox. I don't like that stuff. Any of that stuff. Anyway, then we have Thunderstorm asthma, which is a deadly illness caused by freak weather.
No, it's called by freaks.
An unusual combination of weather conditions leading to a freak illness known as thunderstorm asthma has left 4 people dead in Australia.
It's up to 6 now.
Well, I believe that. Apparently thousands of people were rushed to the hospital struggling with breathing problems in the southern Australian state of Victoria as emergency services struggled to cope. They said during a 4-hour period, Ambulance Victoria received more than 1,900 calls, one every 4 to 5 seconds. An extra 60 ambulances were deployed, as well as police and firefighters. Now, this is what's interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because it says that it occurs when a storm hits during a period of unusually high ryegrass pollen. Now, ryegrass pollen extract happens to be an antidote for asthma.
Right, exactly.
So why are they saying here this is when...
If anything, it would stop
Yes,
asthma.
exactly. So, but according to this experts, they said, quote, when you have a perfect storm coming together of a very high pollen day, high humidity, and a thunderstorm, the grains of ryegrass absorb water with the humidity and they break up into thousands of pieces. Normally, ryegrass, the pollen, would be trapped by nose hairs. When it breaks up, it goes straight to the lungs. So anyway, I just thought, all this is really crazy.
It's ridiculous.
It makes me wonder if
and
they weren't...
everyone in Australia never heard of it.
Yeah, so maybe they were just spraying something that
Of course,
day.
and that's what people think.
Yeah, it says that, and then it goes on to explain more and more. But anyway, to me, it's just a bizarre story.
It's very bizarre.
Yeah. And then we have people who are looking for lucid dreaming.
I would like that.
You would?
Yeah.
I thought you teach that in your classes.
Yeah, but I can't do it.
Apparently, the Amsterdam-based makers of a device called an iBand. It's a headband fitted with LED lights and linked to speakers. It tracks the users, plays audio-visual cues during the deep sleep phase. So this makes the user realize that he or she is dreaming without waking them up, allowing them to control the dream. So this Amsterdam-based firm, they actually put out funding a campaign on Kickstarter. They asked for 50,000 euros. And
No,
in
pounds or euros.
euros,
Wow.
don't read my notes. And instead, they raised 268,000 euros.
Oh,
so
that's
people
nice.
like the idea. I think, I don't want that stuff on my head. I don't think it's nice, personally. I think it's another way to control your brain.
What do you want on your head?
I do not want this iBand thing on my head. And I don't want other people
That's what I
controlling
got
my
you for
dreams.
Christmas.
Well, I don't want to take it back. Now, this was also interesting. We have, I don't know if you, I showed you this picture before because I wanted you to see it.
Oh yeah, I did see that one.
This is a scandal over Rihanna's bathtub picture.
It is pretty disgusting.
Yeah, this features the singer nude. She's sitting by the bathtub, and she has her niece in the bathtub who's also nude, and they're kissing on the lips. The caption reads, "Unconditional love."
No, I call it pedophilia.
Yeah. Many of their followers saw the post as a sweet moment, a child enjoying bath time with her aunt. I don't think we ever bathe our children nude.
And yeah, even the child in the tub should be nude, but not the person bathing them.
Exactly. And that child in the tub should not be standing up kissing a nude adult.
Exactly.
Now, of course, as you say, pedophilia, right? They're imprinting people. If it was a man doing it, I think they would have a real bad trouble, but instead they showed a female doing it. But then, of course, they have to make a big thing of it, so they get in a clinical psychologist who will spout the party line.
Right.
John Mayer, PhD, author of Family Fit, Find Your Balance in Life, says it's normal for young children to be naked in front of family members they are close to, of course, because you're changing their diaper and whatnot. So yes, it's normal for the children to be naked.
Right.
Not only that, but you're also bathing your child, changing their clothes, all those things. So that's normal. Then he goes on to say it helps children accept their bodies and who they are. It helps them accept differences between people.
Yeah, what about the other person?
Excuse me, I've got to have a drink of water.
Now, you need to stop smoking.
It's the ryegrass pollen.
No, yeah, it must be having like an asthma thunderstorm.
Yeah, here. Because they don't like what I'm saying, which is against the party line.
So they're attacking you.
Yes, that's it. Anyway, it says helps children accept their bodies and who they are, and helps them accept differences between people. And I'm going to say BS. Then he goes on to say that it keeps a child from being bullied, speaking of BS, bullied in the future. Because now they feel good about them, their body. Okay, I'm changing their diaper, I'm washing their body, really? Isn't it silly? He's spouting the party line. But then he points out that as children get older, around preschool age, you should stop being naked around them so they learn that clothed is the social norm.
You should not be naked around children.
And preschool age, I would say, starts as somewhere between 2 and 3. Because before that, I guess, is baby school. This child in the photo looks obviously around 2 to 3 years old. Then he goes on to say to kiss a child on the lips isn't viewed as anything beyond a simple sign of affection.
I've never kissed any of my children on the lips.
However, I'm going to tell you, I've seen people who do, but when do you stop? See, that's the thing. If you start it, when do you stop it? Then they don't address that. So he's claiming it's normal. I'm claiming it's setting the stage for pedophilia, which I believe is going to be part of the New World religion.
It already is.
And speaking of which, now I told you through the years a lot of stories about how they're exposing female bodies and how they're getting you used to it being naked, and sure enough, everything I have predicted has come true, and you have watched as now women are throwing off their clothes to prove that you can't objectify them, which I think again is stupid. And then I told you the next step is going to be to make men's naked bodies acceptable, and I have been slowly showing you that trend through the years. Now you will never guess what the newest trend is to help people accept naked men's bodies. Well, there's going to be 2. Men. I'm going to give you a chance because there's actually there's 3 things I'm going to tell you.
You are?
Yes. I can't check my notes out. So the first one, because you can never guess this, is now women are drawing penises on their eyebrows.
Oh, stop it.
They're calling it, I'm sorry,
I've never seen that.
Well, I'm glad. It's called a DIC liner.
What the hell does that mean? Oh, never mind.
Think about it. So they draw.
Do I have to?
They draw it over here. And then in this corner,
who does that?
Instead of tears, guess what they have?
Oh, no, I'm not saying that.
Yeah. So anyway, I have links, and you can go online and check out the pictures.
Who's that one person?
And they're saying it's the latest craze.
See, from a crazed person in a mental institution.
Okay. Then the next thing is they're getting men to show off their private parts by having them put on like thin pants.
Well, I just do that for money.
And then they like show rulers and all kinds of things so that people can show how long the male private parts are.
Is centimeters or inches? Because centimeters is much bigger.
Centimeters is bigger than inches.
Yeah, because it looks like bigger. Because it's a bigger number in centimeters. Yeah.
So that's what they're doing. And then they have men sticking all kinds of things down their pants. And now, not only this, to get you used to it, listen to this. This is again going to be part of New World religion. They're showing animals, male animals, dressed in jogging pants so they can see their personal parts.
Why do you want to?
I'm telling you, this is part of. It's gonna be part of New World religion.
What websites do you go on?
This is mainstream.
I'm gonna have to censor your computer.
Mainstream stuff. They have dogs.
I go on mainstream. I don't see this.
Yeah. And
where do you see this?
I told you in Amsterdam that all this is legal.
Amsterdam are crazy people.
They had it legal there for you to have sex with
Everything
animals.
is legal in Amsterdam.
I know. So I'm telling you, they're going to make it worldwide. Now the last one, the very last one, and my longest one, because you're going to like this one the most, and it's a clue because I already talked about it, and I told you, Botox for men. And guess what they're going to call it? Or what they are calling it, I guess.
I don't even want to know.
Well, I'm going to tell you. It's called Scrotox.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It's a neurotoxin.
Okay, I'm going to wash your mouth out with
They're calling it Scrotox, and they say right in here in the article it's a neurotoxin. So they always tell you what it is before you do some crazy thing yourself. Because I'm sorry, people, if you're doing it, you're stupid, and I'm just going to say that
I told
out
you
and out.
people are stupid.
They're stupid. So you're not going to do this.
No.
I'm not going to draw the DIC liner things on my face.
Can I draw it for you?
No, and you are not going to get Scrotox. But here you go. This is what we know about Scrotox.
That must hurt, though.
Well, apparently each injection costs 2,800 pounds.
Nobody injects
2,800 pounds. No, you have to go to a doctor.
No.
Because of the danger. It's called a scrotal uplift.
Oh my God.
And it's just one of the many procedures you can have. So apparently there's a clinical director at Transform called Mark Norfolk who says over the past year requests for scrotum Botox have doubled, showing the huge demand and interest. However, they don't do it because of all the risks. But they're claiming that athletes like it because one of the side effects is that it decreases sweating. So, and I was reading about
this. Well, that's dangerous if you do
during the last Olympics, they were talking about men and bicycle riders having Botox injections there, but I didn't pay too much attention to it because, again, I thought it was stupid. But now it's a thing. So it decreases sweating, and also it reduces wrinkles. Like, what are you going to do? Take pictures, I guess, when they start taking the pants off.
Wrinkles where?
Getting it in your scrotum, you tell me.
No, I want you to tell me.
No, you're the one who has the issue,
Because you
not
have
me.
a potty mouth.
But it doesn't get rid of excess skin. And then it makes the scrotum appear larger because the muscles relax.
There are muscles there?
And that's why it says cyclists and runners love getting the Botox in this area to relieve them from skin irritations caused from excess sweating and rubbing.
Okay, these people need to get a pet.
And it's just as important as facial rejuvenation. I'm sorry. But it's just ridiculous. I'm sorry. If you're putting crap in your face, if you're getting your lips, and I put this on my Facebook, there was a 23-year-old med student, a female, who died from getting her lips injected. That was just one of the procedures she was going to have done that day, and she died, 23 years old. So don't put stuff in your lips. I'm sorry, it looks like a big vulva.
What about these women that have their ribs removed?
I reported on that. It's stupid, stupid, stupid. So you want to be stupid, they're going to treat you like you're stupid. So don't do this stuff. I don't care if you're a male or a female. You don't need plastic surgery. You're beautiful just like you are.
Me too.
Okay?
Am I?
You're the prettiest. We already know that.
I can't help it.
I can't even go there with
I
you.
can't even help it.
Okay, you don't need Botox. You don't need stuff in your lips, and you don't need all this other crap that they're doing.
Lipstick either.
Yeah, you don't need.
Just perfect.
You are.
Yeah.
And so anyway, like I
I
said,
could
it's
show
just.
you another part of you.
I'm sorry. That's really bad.
Thank you. What? You were talking about scrotums.
Well, I'm not saying here touching myself in front of everybody.
Well, I'm just demonstrating.
Well, stand up then.
Okay. You want me to?
Only a black smoke and other stuff can come out of various body orifices that
Oh,
you
so
might
you've
have.
seen it.
You told me it, and when you did the volcano article.
Oh.
You said it. I know you're 60, you forget things very quickly now.
Don't tell everybody my age.
You already did. It's right here, 1956, on the
don't-
shirt
don't
that you
look.
forgot that you were wearing.
Stop.
Okay?
You're hurting my feelings.
No, you're going to get a lot more hurt if you don't stop all this stuff. So anyway, please, like I said, you need to do your mental work. You don't need to go have all this crap. And in fact, on my blog right now, it's called Anti-Aging. If you've been participating, then you might not be so smart, but you will be pretty, okay? Anti-Aging. So there's a lot of mental work that you can do. It doesn't involve Scrotox and Botox and lip stuff that makes you look like your private parts on your face. So don't do that either. Anyway, so if you want to learn how to be as pretty as Stewart and how to be as smart as me, come to our January Hyperspace Oversoul week-long class. It is our most intense class of the year. It's in January.
Am I going to be here?
That's why I said I'm the smart one. I'll let you know where to be,
Okay.
okay? You're the pretty one. You just have to show up when I tell you.
All right.
Okay?
Do
So,
I have to wear any kind of thing over my scrotum?
it depends on what you want to do,
Oh,
you know?
okay.
So anyway,
Maybe more people will come if I don't.
I think you scare them away, my dear.
Okay.
January 2017, Hyperspace Oversoul class, our most intense class of the year. So, please put that on your calendar because people are signing up. We already have people coming in
We
from
do?
the UK, from Australia, from all over the US. So, we keep it a smaller class. It is limited. If you want to be here, you've got to sign up right away. Customer support at expansions.com. Like our Facebook pages, my self-healing webinar group is still ongoing. And we have the group blog fasts, which are very popular now. So we have a
Yeah, not for
lot of
me.
things that
I
are
don't
very
like
popular.
to fast.
And join our membership. So, anything else?
No, you said everything.
Yeah. Was too fast for your brain?
A little bit.
That's what I thought.
You know, I just came from Australia and I'm a little slow there.
Yeah, and not only
It's
that,
like
but
the
they...
other side. It's like upside down.
Right, well, you've been on your head all
Yeah.
this time, so I can't expect anything more from you.
Yeah.
All you have to do is just sit there and be pretty. That's all I ask.
That's all
That's
I can
all
do.
they expect.
I just wake up
That's
like
why
that.
they don't like me with you, because they just like to
No,
to
you know
look
why
at
they
your
don't. You know why they don't
beautifulness.
like you?
Why?
Because you won't let them inject their lips and their scrotums.
That's true, because I tell them what not to do, not what they want to do. And the same with tattoos. And then now, that's right, it's filled with iron ore.
Not mine.
Yes, it is.
No.
Yes, it is. That's filled with all kinds of crap that's in there, and then it goes to your brain. So you can be pretty with your big lips and whatever, but you might not have too many brain cells left when you're done.
Oh,
See?
we can't all be as smart as you.
Yeah. Well, but get back to trimming whatever it is you have to write in your beard.
Oh, I have to redo it.
Yeah.
Can you see the words?
No, I think you
Oh.
need to do it again.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna put scrotum next time.
That's a good idea. Very good. In fact, then maybe I'll do your eyebrows with the penis and the whatever.
Okay.
I think that's a very
Yeah,
good
that'll
idea.
attract a lot of
Or
attention.
you could practice on your eyes
Yeah.
before you.
Oh, should we tell them about next week's podcast? It'll be a little different
Why?
because we have that TV crew coming.
We don't know.
Well, we do.
No.
No.
Oh,
All right,
I
so
don't like to
don't-
tell
just
them in advance. They can't handle this. This is too much
Just
for them.
ignore what I just
Yeah.
said.
Do. All right. So that said,
All right. Well, I guess. Belated happy Thanksgiving to the Americans.
those who celebrate,
Yeah.
and then to the natives who consider that a day of tragedy.
Right. It's like uprise against them.
Yeah, we're sorry about that.
Yes. And that's it for now. And I'll see you next week. I hope.
Bye.
Bye.